Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the departure ceremony for the 177th Cyber Protection Team. I am First Lieutenant Erica Iverson, the MC for today's ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of our official party and the entrance of the 177th Cyber Protection Team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 177th Cyber Protection Team led by Major Brian Morgan and Sergeant First Class Brian Hess. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce our official party for today's ceremony. Division Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Malika. Battalion Headquarters Chaplain, First Lieutenant Paul Menny. 177th Cyber Protection Team Commander, Major Brian Morgan. Please stand for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the invocation. Military members should stand at attention. Civilians may place their right hand over their heart. invocation will be given by chaplain candidate Paul Menny.
I invite you to join me in prayer and pray in your tradition as I pray in mine. Father, as we prepare to serve our nation away from home, we ask for your guiding presence. Remind us that you stand beside us, that you wait for us. Enable us to see that there is never a burden you cannot bear, never a sorrow you won't shape, never a trial that you're not there. Shower your divine care upon us today and lead us as we step forward in service of our nation. Amen.
Thank you, chaplain candidate. Please be seated. We would like to recognize and thank our distinguished guests present with us today. Colonel Joseph Sharkey, 34th Infantry Division Chief of Staff. Colonel Carl Fassbender, Joint Force Headquarters Chief of Staff, as well as those that are attending virtually. A special thank you to all the family members of the deploying soldiers and to all veterans of the military services. Thank you for your strength, courage, and dedication. Thank you to the Patriot Guard for honoring these soldiers and families. And finally, thank you to all the employees and business owners who are absorbing the loss of their cyber experts and leaders while they service the nation's call. The National Guard is the oldest component of the nation's armed forces. The oldest units of the National Guard serving today are elements that have an unbroken line of descent from militia units organized in 1636. Throughout its history, our National Guard has had a dual role. It serves the nation when called upon by the President, such as this deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. The 177th Cyber Protection Team was first organized on 1 October 2017 and assigned to the Minnesotan Army National Guard. The 177th Cyber Protection Team will mobilize as part of Task Force ECHO, which consists of approximately 150 soldiers who hail from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Virginia. The Task Force ECHO mobilization is historic in that it marks the first Army National Guard Task Force mobilization of this size to support U.S. Cyber Command operations full-time, and is a testament to the Army's commitment to the total force and defense of networks against the nation's adversaries. Task Force ECHO relies on soldiers with diverse technical backgrounds who come with extensive experience that only comes from working in defensive cyberspace positions throughout the private sector and through the completion of extensive training required to be a cyber warrior. These cyber forces will mobilize to Fort Meade, Maryland, to engineer, install, operate, and maintain the nation's critical network infrastructure for United States Cyber Command and the 780th Military Intelligence Brigade, and to conduct cyberspace operations that deliver effects in order of the Army, in support of the Army and Joint Force requirements. This partnership ultimately serves the purpose of protecting our nation against those who seek to do our country and its citizens harm. The 177th will conduct additional mission-specific training over the next several weeks at Fort Meade, Maryland, prior to beginning their Title X mobilization. In mid-December, the unit will report to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for mobilization and processing, with follow-on duty back at Fort Meade. It is my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Brian Malika, the battalion commander for the Division Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion, 34th Infantry Division, to say a few words to the family, friends, and soldiers of the 177th Cyber Protection Team.
Colonel Fassbender, Colonel Sharkey, distinguished guests, Patriot Ride, volunteers, family, friends joining us via live stream. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening in whatever way you've been able to do. Just 3 short years ago, the 177th Cyber Protection Team was organized. Minnesota is one of the few states to take on manning, training, and equipping an entire team rather than being spread across multiple states. That's a unique and fitting accomplishment in and of itself. That's a testament to the diverse skills and professionalism that the soldiers of Minnesota bring to the fight. These past few years, the soldiers of the 177th have been handpicked from numerous candidates for their skills, aptitude, and potential to serve in this unique unit. This really is a select, dare I say, elite unit with a very unique set of skills. And you should all be proud of that, and your families and friends should be proud of that as well. Once you've been assigned, you've applied yourself to rigorous and challenging training, both individually and as a team, to get to this day, to deploy in an operational capacity in support of our national interests. Again, be proud of yourselves, be proud of your unit, regardless of your role, for reaching this milestone in just 3 years. The U.S. intelligence community's 2019 Worldwide Threat Assessment lists cyber, along with terrorism and weapons of mass destruction, as some of the top threats to our national security. It states, our adversaries and strategic competitors will increasingly use cyber capabilities, including cyber espionage, attack, and influence to steal information, to influence our citizens, or to disrupt critical infrastructure. It goes on to state that our adversaries have conducted cyber espionage to collect intelligence and targeted our critical infrastructure to hold it at risk. This is the environment you will deploy in, the environment that you will go and help keep us safe in. On a typical day as IT, cybersecurity, and intelligence professionals, most of your family and friends don't understand what it is you do. I assume that to be true. I know it's true for me, so I assume that's true for you too. Maybe they ask you to help out with the VCR, if you've still got one of those, or troubleshoot. I guess that's dated, man. Wow. Help you out with with Netflix, or troubleshoot their laptop, and your skills are just levels and miles and miles beyond that. But that's kind of how it works some days. Again, in this deployment, this will be taken to another level. And it's going to be challenging for you and your families. You won't be in the news. People won't understand what you do. That's the goal. You will have moments of pride and excitement at the work you're doing that you may only be able to sum up to your loved ones as, today was a good day. We did some really good things. That's a challenge for you. Take a moment with your team to share in that knowledge what you will know that you accomplished together, and keep it in the team. Families of the 177th, thank you so much for sharing your soldiers with us. You all serve with them and take on a heavy burden when your soldier leaves to serve their country. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made to this point with all of the training this team has done just to get here. And thank you in advance for the extreme juggling act you are about to take on over the next year plus. As you know, the world runs on IT. It runs on information technology, our power systems, water systems, voting systems, government's business, our healthcare system. It all runs on information technology. Know that your soldiers will be decisively engaged in keeping us safe with the work they are doing. They are going on a mission that only very select few units can take on. Take pride in that, even when it may be hard to understand or even harder to explain. Friends, employers, thank you as well for supporting these soldiers and supporting their families. Keep in touch with them. Wish them well. Even the smallest gestures can mean so much in the midst of a pretty stressful time. Cyber warriors, or shadow warriors, I believe is how you guys call yourselves. You ready? I know you will excel. Not only excel, I know you'll improve things in immeasurable ways, because that's just what you've always done. That's what we do in Minnesota. We get to work, we make things happen, and we figure out how to make it better. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor. You're all part of my military family. Some of you, we've served together, some new faces, or at least some new half-mast faces, but it's good to see your faces. And it's good to serve with you. You're all part of my military family now. And if there's anything I can do to support you, your families, please ask. It would be my pleasure to help you in any way I can as you embark on this mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Malika. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 177th Cyber Protection Team, Major Brian Morgan.
All All right, good morning, everybody. The best part about giving a speech in 2020 is you get to take your mask off. So, that's a rare thing. Looking forward to this because of that reason only. So, all right, no, seriously, thank you for joining us with us today as we prepare to embark on our mission. It is an honor and a pleasure to stand before you today with this team of cyber professionals who represent the best this country has to offer. This team is professional, motivated, skilled, and ready to deploy. This moment represents a new era for the Minnesota Army National Guard, as this is the state's first mobilization of cyber forces directly in support of a federal mission. In addition to the years of experience that come with corporate and government civilian careers, every member of our team has undergone many months of specialized training in networking, hardware, programming, information security, offensive and defensive cyber operations, information security, electronics, risk management, project management, and the list goes on. This tour represents the culmination of that training. If you are a family member, friend, or employer of any of the members of this team, you've seen this dedication firsthand over the past few years and know the commitment your soldier has made to this effort. The ancient Greeks said that Prometheus gifted fire to humanity. With that fire, humans took back the night and gained power and insight. But when misused, they also burned down their homes and scarred themselves, or worse. That technological leap made is akin to the technological leaps made in the past 20 years, to me anyway. I'd like to take a moment to explain the gravity of the security situation we face as a nation. To most of us, security of our home and work computers, our networks, other technology is almost entirely transparent. You may not know or care about the shifts that are happening as we speak. Our homes, appliances, cars, doorbells, refrigerators are now connected to the internet like never before. Due to COVID-19, almost every adult and child are either partially or wholly reliant on the internet and computers to attend work, to attend school, to receive education. With this tremendous reliance on technology comes tremendous vulnerability. Massive data breaches occur at even the most well-guarded institutions. Engineering adequate enterprise security becomes seemingly impossible. It's complex, expensive, and hyper-difficult. Even a perfect technical security system worth millions of dollars can be penetrated through a single successful social engineering attack, against a single user, and can put that entire network at risk. Credit cards and bank accounts, health records, other sensitive information are routinely stolen in droves and sold to international fraudsters on dark markets daily. Unpatched home security cameras and other edge devices are being compromised by the millions, becoming zombie minions in global botnets used to overload web servers and disrupt access to critical services for just everybody. Oh, and this zombie transition, it happens silently. There's no overt indication. Some of you may have cameras that are part of this. These are things that are happening in 2020 and before. Finally, ransomware. Ransomware, for those who don't know, is a type of malware which uses the power of modern-day encryption to lock up files and networks. And in order to get access back, you're supposed to pay the ransom. That's why they call it ransomware. It keeps evolving, infecting global networks with no discrimination now between schools, hospitals, banks, or governments. All are valid targets in the eyes of today's cyber criminals. They have amassed billions in revenue from their crimes and reinvest that money to grow in sophistication, always trying to stay a step ahead. Meanwhile, adversarial nations hack us constantly in attempts to delegitimize our democracy, exacerbate our political divisions, and impact our elections. And those are just the brief, unclassified cliff notes of the dangers we face. It's the tip of the technological iceberg. Technology is the ultimate double-edged sword, both offering incredible freedoms, convenience, and instant knowledge. But the gift of Prometheus's fire, it turns out, was not entirely free. Its cost was our perpetual obligation to protect it and ensure it is only used wisely. Our team will be integrating with the National Cyber Task Force to ensure our protection and safety. It is through the commitment of well-measured, deliberate, and meaningful actions by the men and women who sit in these chairs through which we can attempt to guarantee the safety and security of this country going forward. Families, know that as your soldier deploys with this team, they will be doing truly amazing things. many of which you will never know about. We also recognize that no soldier deploys alone. Families deploy with them, just perhaps not physically. Sacrifices are real. Birthdays and holidays are missed. Weddings and funerals become afterthoughts to mission. Life back home doesn't stop while we're gone. But this is a reality we all accept, and we gladly do so to provide our measure for the safety and security of this country. So on behalf of the entire team, I offer a thank you to all of the families, thank you to all the employers who stick with us and don't silently penalize us because of our obligations, and a thank you to all of the countless supporters, many of whom are in this room right now, who provide daily inspiration and motivation to continue doing what we do. We will not let you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Morgan. At this time, the Senior Ride Captain and Vice President for the Metro Minnesota Patriot Guard, Mark Lee, will now present Major Morgan with a Patriot Guard flag from his unit.
All right, on behalf of the Minnesota Patriot Guard and Patriot Riders, first of all, I want to thank you all for your service, but also present this flag for you to display while deployed, to remind you guys that you'll always be in our thoughts and prayers, and wish you guys a safe return home.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Patriot Guard. Now, Major Morgan and Sergeant First Class Hess will conduct roll call of their unit and receive the mobilization order.
Hess, conduct roll.
Yes, sir. Chief, Warrant Officer 3, Alexander Barnes.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Antoine Bea.
Present.
Sergeant First Class, Joshua Broughton.
Present.
Specialist, Colin Campbell.
Present.
Captain, Richard Clay.
Present.
Captain, Dat Dang.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Christopher Fay.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Daniel Jondalia.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Matthew Harberts. Sergeant First Class, Brian Hess. Present. Sergeant, Taylor James.
Present.
Chief, Warrant Officer 3, Sussex Kostenboth.
Present.
Sergeant, Dustin Kimmis.
Present.
Chief, Warrant Officer 3, Joshua Klinkhammer.
Present.
Corporal, Derek Croft.
Present.
First Lieutenant, Christopher Larson.
Present.
Specialist, Anthony Leese.
Present.
Specialist, Donovan Magny.
Present.
Chief Warrant Officer 4, Stephen Mankowski.
Present.
Major, Brian Morgan.
Present.
Chief Warrant Officer 2, Kirk Oldray.
Present.
Sergeant First Class, Scott Pomerlew.
Present.
Sergeant, Aaron Prabonich.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Joshua Rice.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Marco Riley.
Present.
Staff Sergeant, Anthony Rupert.
Present.
Major, Caleb Seelhoff.
Present.
Warrant Officer 1, Justin Smith.
Present.
Sergeant First Class, Darren Stowe.
Present.
Captain, Luke Voller.
Present.
Captain, Troy Weber.
Present.
Chief Warrant Officer 4, Chad Wold.
Present.
Chief Warrant Officer 1, Christopher Woltman.
Present.
Sergeant, Rose Zhang. Sir, all soldiers are present.
Sir, 177 CPT present, ready to deploy.
Receiving mobilization order.
Publish the order.
Pursuant to Presidential Executive Order 13223, dated 14 September 2001, 177th Cyber Protection Team is relieved from present reserve component status and ordered to mobilization on active service duty.
Take charge of your unit. Go.
At this time, we would like to give special thanks to the Family Readiness Group leaders and also thanks to the Yellow Ribbon Network for all they do for soldiers and families in the state of Minnesota. It is our honor and privilege to give thanks to these soldiers and their families today. Please rise for the benediction offered by Chaplain Candidate Many and remain standing for the exit of the official party.
I again invite you to join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessing on this day, as you have graciously preserved our nation through the years and have led us in wondrous ways. Grant that we may be worthy of our high calling as a nation. Make us reverent in the use of freedom, just in the exercise of power, generous in the protection of weakness. Inspire the men and women who direct our nation, that they may guide it well and wisely. We especially pray today for the soldiers and families of the Cyber Protection Team in their new responsibilities over the next year. Grant them in all of their duties your help, in their perplexities your counsel, in all danger your protection, in all sorrow your peace. May God bless the Cyber Protection Team. May God bless the state of Minnesota, and may God bless the United States of America.
This concludes our ceremony for the 177th Cyber Protection Team. Thank you for attending and making today a very memorable event.